All right, let's talk about something that's probably sitting in your kitchen right now, the microwave. It's this box of everyday magic, right? It heats up our food in just minutes. But have you ever stopped to think about how it actually works? Well, let's find out. I mean, you know the routine. You pop your leftovers in, you hit a few buttons, you hear that familiar hum, and a minute later, boom, a steaming hot meal. We do it all the time without a second thought, but what is really going on in there? What's the secret? Okay, let's dive in. And the answer? Well, it might feel like magic, but it's actually something even cooler. It's physics. In this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how this incredible machine uses invisible energy to cook your food from the inside. Well, sort of. We'll get to that.
So, first things first. To understand the oven, we have to understand the wave. So, what exactly is a microwave?
A microwave is simply a type of energy that travels in waves. It's part of what's called the electromagnetic spectrum, which is a big family that includes all sorts of things, like the radio waves that bring you your favorite music, and even the visible light that's letting you see this right now. Here you can kind of see where microwaves fit in. On the lower energy side, you've got your radio waves, and on the higher energy side, you've got visible light and things like X-rays. Microwaves are sitting in this perfect little sweet spot in the middle, with an energy level that's just right for a very specific job. And what is that job? Well, that brings us to the core of the whole process. How do these invisible waves actually create heat? The secret ingredient to microwave cooking is water. Yep, just about every food you eat is packed with millions and millions of tiny little water molecules. And those molecules are exactly what the microwaves are looking for. Okay, this is where the action happens. When you press start, a device inside called a magnetron generates and just floods the food with microwaves. Now, water molecules are like tiny little magnets with a positive and a negative end. They try to line up with the microwave's electric field, but here's the clever part. That field flips back and forth about 2.5 billion times a second. The water molecules try desperately to keep up, vibrating and spinning like crazy. All of that rapid vibration creates friction between them, and friction creates heat. It's basically a giant molecular dance party that heats your food. So this brings us to a really common myth, that microwaves cook from the inside out. That's not quite right. The waves actually only penetrate the food about an inch deep, exciting all the water molecules in that area at the same time. The very center of thicker foods, like a big piece of meat, actually heats up the old-fashioned way, through conduction, as heat transfers from the hot outer layers. So, we know how the food gets hot, but what about the container it's in? The material you use is just as important, because as you know, not all containers are microwave-friendly. You've probably experienced this, right? You can take a glass bowl out of the microwave with your bare hands, but a ceramic mug might be scorching hot. And of course, we all know the #1 rule: never ever put metal in the microwave. So why do all these materials behave so differently? This table really breaks it down. Materials like glass and most ceramics are basically transparent to microwaves. The waves pass right through them without heating them up. That's why they're safe. Metal, on the other hand, acts like a mirror. It reflects the microwaves, causing them to build up energy, which creates those dangerous sparks. And then you have some plastics or styrofoam that just can't handle the heat. They can melt or even leach chemicals into your food, which is why you always need to check for that microwave safe label. Okay, let's wrap things up with a few quick but essential safety tips just to make sure you're using your microwave safely and getting the best results. First off, like we just said, always use microwave-safe containers. Super important. Second, never run the microwave empty. All that unabsorbed energy can bounce around and really damage the oven. Also, be careful with liquids. They can superheat past boiling without any bubbles and then erupt when you touch them. A quick stir before and after heating solves that. Of course, cover your food to prevent splatters. Nobody likes cleaning that mess up. And one last time, no metal. That includes foil. Just don't do it. And there you have it. From an invisible wave to a molecular dance party all the way to a hot meal. It's a pretty fantastic example of physics at work in our everyday lives. It's a great reminder that our world is just full of these invisible forces, right? From the Wi-Fi signals connecting us to the internet to the radio waves bringing us music. It kind of makes you wonder, what other everyday magic is just waiting to be explained? Thanks for joining me.